public school in the 90s.
All right. Now, for those of you that don't know, I just did a cartoon on school punishments from back in the day. You know, like when we had to write stuff on the chalkboard over and over again until our hands went numb. Remember that?
But yeah, this video is called Public School in the 90s. But like, without further ado, let's get into the video and let's see what's going on.
That was a real rootin' tootin' time, wasn't it? Well, after doing that episode, it got me thinking about other aspects of my school days that may or may not be a thing anymore. Like, for example, coat rooms. Are those still a thing? Do they exist? You see, I went to one of those.
Crazy how no. I went to, like, when I was in elementary school, that was the last time I had a coat rack or like a cubby or a coat room at all. That was the last time. It was done after that. Never. Oh, shoot. Never saw one of those again. Never.
Old-ass public schools back in the day that looked like a fucking King Koopa castle from Super Mario Brothers. And all those old-ass schools had a separate coat room attached to the classroom where you'd hang all your shit up at. We didn't have any of those stupid-ass little cubbies that they use nowadays. All right, little children, let's put our mittens away in our little cubbies, shall we?
Right, like it wasn't quite like that. It was literally just like the coat thing where everybody would just hang it up somewhere and put your stuff somewhere on the coat or the rack in general.
No, back in my day, you put your shit in the coat room because your teacher didn't want to look at your stupid-ass, obnoxious Angry Beavers book bag. Put it away. Go. But the cool thing about the coat room was that was the place where all the shady shit would go down when you were a kid. Like if you had Pokemon cards to trade before class or a fucking Newport menthol to smoke, well, you did that shit in the coat room where the teacher couldn't see you. Hell, I've seen entire fucking fist fights go down in the coat room. I seen a kid catch a missile drop kick to the teeth, and then 5 minutes later you're sitting at his desk taking a spelling test. Not to mention the time where a kid took a piss inside of the coat room, and we all got to go outside again for a bonus recess while the janitor cleaned that shit up. What a fucking time to be alive. You definitely can't pull that shit off with a fucking cubby. You're asked to catch a indecent exposure charge. So what I'm saying is bring back the coat rooms, all right? They're fucking cool. Hashtag fuck cubbies. Now, another thing that seems to be disappearing from schools these days is having your own desk. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it sure seems like schools these days just throw a bunch of tables and chairs in there for kids to sit at. And I think that's a pretty big mistake because having your own desk.
Yeah, that's true. Like I am in high school still, and I barely only a few of my classes have like desk, like singular desk. And then like the thing is, when we do have desk, they're all connected together like one unison table. Like I am cool with it because you're closer to people that you know, but like I do also sometimes kind of miss the desk just being in corners and columns and in line. It is just cool to me that way. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Desk was part of your identity back then. That was your desk. That was your little piece of the classroom. Don't touch my desk, goddammit. I pay the property tax on this motherfucker. Go, get away. Don't even look at it. Hell, your desk was basically an extension of your student self. Like if you got in trouble in class, chances are your teacher would send you and your desk out in the hallway as a punishment. Why are you sitting out here? Because me and my desk were being obnoxious little assholes during a spelling test, that's why. Now, how orderly you kept your desk depended a lot on if you were a little boy or if you're a little girl. Because little girls tended to be cleaner and a little bit more organized. They'd have like all their books neat and orderly.
Oh man, that reminds me of a story. Like one time I was in third or second grade, and like I had a desk and like a locker, I think. And then my parents had got called up to my school, and basically the teacher snitched on me for some apparent reason, saying that I was being too cluttered or whatever, and grades or whatever were slipping. I mean, my grades have never been crazy bad, but like I had papers stuffed all in my desk because like that was just the way I kept myself organized. But my mom was not that kind of person to where things be unorganized. She likes things to be organized to the T. So you can see how things were not gonna level with each other. And my dad, he don't usually come into school like that. But when he does, it's usually because it's a serious situation. So both of my parents came in during the actual school day. So other kids were in there. So they came in and they were just pulling stuff out the desk. And my mom was already disappointed. And then we get to the locker and we see or the cubby or whatever it was. And then we just see stacks of papers just in there. And that kind of carried on with me doing that repetitively. So you could imagine how many beatings or whoopings I got, in my time frame. Not very pleasant, but yeah, this hits back home.
to be in rainbow order and shit. But then you check out a little boy's desk, and holy hell, that shit would look like an active crime scene. There'd be shit crammed in there all haphazard-like. There'd be like a fucking half-eaten moldy Pop-Tart sitting there, a dead hamster in the corner and shit. You didn't know what the fuck you were gonna find in a little boy's desk. That shit would look like a goddamn I Spy book from back in the day. I spy with my little eye 6 boogers and 9 toenail clippings. Gross. Fucking sick. But hey, it was your desk. You got to keep it how you wanted it. Hashtag fuck tables and chairs. Okie dokie. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is student graders. You remember back in the day when your whole classroom would get finished with like a science quiz or something, and your teacher would be sitting there like, well, I don't feel like grading your guys' bullshit right now. Everybody pass your paper to your neighbor and pull out a red pen. I'm going to read off the answers, and you guys are going to grade your own shit. Well, having students grade papers...
Crazy thing is, I have a story for this thing too. So let's get into it a little bit. So, you know, teachers will always have that one student that, you know, basically they love or whatever, that they're called the teacher's pet. And some teachers will have this vary from day to day. And one fateful day, I come into 3rd or 2nd grade, I think. I come into class, and by the end of class, the teacher says, Ernest, or no, for as far as you guys know, my name's Ernest, but still. She says, come up here and give the other students their colors for the day. Like in elementary school, there'd be like you get a green, red, yellow, and then if you were good or bad. And then if you were exceptional and like the highest of high, you'd have pink, purple, blue. And then she told me to not worry about giving anyone anything exemplary or anything too low. So I was just coloring in everybody's green. And then I color everybody else's in perfect. And then I make a little mistake and I color outside the lines on that green circle. So the person goes to snitch to the teacher saying that I basically had it out for them personally, like a lobotomite or whatever scenario, saying that I did something to hurt them personally by not coloring in their green circle the way they wanted it to be, which... What are we talking about? I was just coloring it in. It's a marker. They bleed sometimes. Gosh, can't get your underwear out your butthole. But like the thing is that my teacher agreed with them apparently. And they said, Ernest, just color it in a circle. And I'm pretty sure my mom ended up having an issue with that teacher early on. But, you know, my mom always was standing up for me, so we figured that out. Thank you, Mom.
Could be a good thing, or it could suck ass completely. Like if you were grading one of your friends' papers, instead of marking something wrong, maybe instead you'd change their dumbass answer and penciled in the right one. And then maybe, you know, at lunchtime they gave you their chocolate milk, and it was a win-win for everybody. But then the other side of the coin is, you'd have somebody like Natasha's fucking forthright goody two-shoe ass grading your test, and she'd be like,
and
no.
like they would cut everything and make everything wrong. Yes, I remember stuff like this in school.
Fucking wrong. Photosynthesis isn't the first layer of the atmosphere, you stupid asshole. You suck, -2 points. You suck ass, Natasha, with your always by the book ass. I hope you get headlights again, like you did last winter, you fucking narc. But hey, you win some and you lose some. Student graders were still the shit. Hashtag fuck Natasha. All right, now there's one last little thing that I want to talk about today, and that, of course, is pencil sharpeners. Or more specifically, the pencil sharpener. You know, the one that was at the front of the classroom, bolted to...
Now I got there at the end of like all this sharpeners type era. I got in like the beginning of like the auto sharpeners. So I would still see a lot of these on the walls. But the thing is, they most of the time didn't work. It was just like there for nostalgia purposes. Most teachers said they just like to see it up there because it just brought them back to when they used to teach. But on the odd case where a teacher would have one still working, these things are like one of the best ways to sharpen your pencil of all time. It almost never fails. You just sit there, go as fast as you need to go, and then it gets it sharpened quickly. And it's right over the trash can, and it's done quickly. Like, if you find a teacher's room that has one, it's perfect.
To the fucking wall so nobody could steal it? Is that still a thing these days? Are there still kids in this day and age that go up to that pencil sharpener in the middle of a quiz and just sharpen the shit out of their pencil for like 45 minutes straight? Like, you're sitting there trying to focus. You're fucking up your science quiz 6 ways to Sunday and shit. That little asshole just keeps on going because every time he pulls out his pencil, it would look like this shit right here, which would just repeat.
Oh my goodness, I hate that. And like the only way to fix that is by like peeling it down and then like getting your finger in there. And then if you miss the pencil with your finger, it kind of like pulls up your finger skin. I just hate that. I hate it.
The cycle over and over again. Eventually, your teacher just snaps and she's like, fucking sit down, Eric. God damn it. That's enough. You get a 0 on your quiz. If you can't sharpen a goddamn pencil, well, it's probably safe to say you don't know shit about the atmosphere. You suck, you get an F. Look, I don't know if the pencil sharpener is still a thing, but God, I hope it is. What a time to be alive. Hashtag fuck mechanical pencils. All right, so those are just some of the things that I wanted to talk about today. And really, I could just go on and on and on about certain shit. I mean, I didn't even talk about the fucking Pizza Hut Book It program, for Christ's sake. You know, when they used to give us personal pan pizzas for reading 5 Frog and Toad.
Those were crazy. Like, you would just read a certain amount of books and you get a free 4-slice pizza. That was pretty cool. I never got to the end of one of those, but I did get handed out one of those for like an award at an award show at school. So, I mean, I got like a little card for it. It was pretty cool.
Books. Neat. Cool. All right. So if you guys want to hear more or if you have any suggestions, why don't you drop a comment down below? Or don't. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. The end.
Man, this guy has consistently, like, he has consistent good videos. Like, I get it. Like, this dude has good videos. But yeah, Bruce Do Films, WVids, man. I appreciate the videos. But yeah, YouTube, make sure you're commenting, liking, and subscribing. Stay happy, stay peaceful, love God, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.